For a third day in Afghanistan in protest of last month's burning of a Quran at a U.S. church. This past week, protesters killed 7 foreigners at a United Nations compound. President Obama called the killings outrageous, but he also called the desecration of the Muslim holy book a, quote, act of extreme intolerance. Raghida Dergham is senior diplomatic correspondent and UN bureau chief for Al Hayat newspaper, and she joins me here in the studio now to talk about this. So, Raghida, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
I want to start with the level of violence that we're seeing in Afghanistan. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me because they have taken the act itself as offensive to their religion. But I tell you, it is one thing that the law is with the pastor who burned the Quran and that it is his right to express his point of view. But it's legally also our right to condemn this despicable act and to just point out the extent of its danger to American interests. Equally, I think leaders in the Muslim world and amongst the public opinion makers, I think they also have the responsibility to explain to their people that this is an act of a man, not of a nation, and to also condemn what the reaction is in killing. So I think the condemnation by General Petraeus is very good that came today, but it should have come earlier, and it should come from multiple places, and as well as the condemnation of the acts taking place right now in Afghanistan.
When we talk about what we're seeing in Libya right now and reports that this has basically come to a point of stalemates, 2 weak armies almost sparring off against each other, back and forth. And here we have the situation with the U.S. saying that they were not going to be involved with more strikes and now saying that over the last 12 hours they were involved with very limited strikes. What does it say to you about what's going on there and the potential that this is a stalemate that really does need to be negotiated?
Well, I mean, what needs to be negotiated is the type of exit for Muammar Gaddafi and his regime, not whether the United States can take another 2 weeks of this bombing. The fact of the matter is that when the NATO forces plus the coalition members, including Arabs, came in, it wasn't about concluding this in 2 weeks and only liberating Benghazi. It was supposed to be to put a stop to this regime's acts altogether. So I think this attention deficit disorder on the level of the American public and the American media, forgive me to be critical, but even amongst the administration officials, I think it's not going to be good for the United States because you can't take them that far and then drop them.
Well, attention deficit disorder meaning we're not covering it enough?
Well, I think there's fatigue right now already. The American media is saying, well, I'm really tired of this, get this war over with because I don't want a quagmire. I just think it is not about what we want and how much time we want to give to a story. It is about what, the future of this country is all about. I've heard people say today, oh, that's okay now, we know we've done a good job, it's over, so let the Libyan revolutionaries have the eastern part, and then, we would have done a good job, we're not into a quagmire, we're out of it, and then Libya divided is not a big thing. I don't think this is good for our American national interests on the long run. I think if we come in with something, we should finish it.
But when you say finish it, does that mean staying in the region?
This was not supposed to be an occupation, never ever. It was supposed to be a coalition that made up its mind not to let this regime stay in power and emboldened to do what it wanted to do. Maybe it was not necessary to go that far and to shut the door of diplomacy, but that did happen. It happened in the Security Council. It happened with Arab participation, and it is, it's not good to overpromise and underdeliver. It's time to actually, take this responsibility because this is probably the last sort of, the last round in making it happen, and then it will be in the interest of the United States on the long run.
Yeah, the reverse of that is better, to underpromise and overdeliver.
That would be good.
And in this situation, yeah, we're not seeing that come to fruition just yet. Great to have you on, Raghida. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. See you.
2 big developments in Japan.